this would look is I would wake up every morning and the first thing I would do is look at the daily log. And that would contain everything that went wrong in my patch overnight. So I would absorb that chaos. My nervous system would go into fight or flight as soon as I've woken up in the morning. I would get all these new problems. I would stick them on the pile of problems that I had from yesterday that I still hadn't fixed. And then the squeeze would come from above, right? So my boss would get orders from his boss, the managing director, to ask me what the fuck is going on and to fix it, right? Like, there wouldn't be any curiosity though. There wouldn't be any questions like, why is this happening? How can we prevent it? It really would be, just put this fire out please, because I don't want to see it, I don't want to hear about it anymore. And over time, I got to realize that this is actually how most people live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 1000 Days Sober podcast. Every morning, I used to open up a logbook filled with disasters, derailments, delays, even deaths. And you know what? It was my job to fix it all and to fix it fast. And I was bloody good at it. Too good. Because the better I got at putting out fires, the more fires came my way. Sound familiar? Welcome to the 1000 Days Sober podcast. My name is Davy. I am not an alcoholic. I refuse to be anonymous. I am someone who lives a life that is self-led and alcohol-free as fuck. And I spend every single waking moment of that life helping other people do the same, like right now, baby. Yes. Did any of you used to watch Only Fools and Horses, which was a show in the UK? There used to be Grandad on there, and Grandad always used to say, during the war, and whenever he said it, people would fall asleep. If you know me, and you know my railway background, whenever I tell an old story, I say, during the railway, cue sleep. Please don't fall asleep. I am going to give you an old railway story, right? So I was walking around Cardiff the other day, and I was listening to Lex Fridman podcast. He was interviewing Douglas Murray, and Douglas Murray was talking about his work in and around government officials and how government officials would often ask Douglas for advice on how they could get away from constantly putting out fires in their job. And this brought me right back to my days at DB Schenker Rail towards the back end of my career, right? So here is a during the railway story for you. Back then, as an area production manager, my job was all about leadership and vision. Only it wasn't, because my managing director wanted me just focusing on firefighting. And how this would look is I would wake up every morning and the first thing I would do is look at the daily log. And that would contain everything that went wrong in my patch overnight. So I would absorb that chaos. My nervous system would go into fight or flight as soon as I've woken up in the morning. I would get all these new problems. I would stick them on the pile of problems that I had from yesterday that I still hadn't fixed. And then the squeeze would come from above, right? So my boss would get orders from his boss, the managing director, to ask me what the fuck is going on and to fix it, right? Like, there wouldn't be any curiosity though. There wouldn't be any questions like, why is this happening? How can we prevent it? It really would be, just put this fire out, please, because I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. And over time, I got to realize that this is actually how most people live, not just in work and on railways, but in relationships, with your health, and yes, drinking, all right? Just putting out fires day in, day out, arguing with people, rushing through work, numbing at night, living in a state of reactivity, right? Never stopping to ask, what the fuck is going on here, right? And the thing is, we really think we're being useful when we put out fires. We do. We think we're important. We think that we're needed. But the thing is, it's a trap. It's a part trap. Because the more we feed the chaos, the more we stay stuck in the liquid lie, thanks to alcohol-reliance. And I'm going to take a short break in a minute. But before I do that, ask yourself, are you a firefighter in your own life? And if you are, what fire are you most afraid to let burn? Welcome back to the 1000 Day Sober podcast and our little talk about fires and putting them out. Being a good firefighter might keep the lights on, but it will burn you out from the inside. because you can't live a self-led life if your nervous system is always aflame and always outside your window of tolerance, because this is where your parts thrive. This is where your inner child, the younger version of you, the ego, really does feed on all that cortisol, that adrenaline, and all that drama. And when the day is done, your parts reach for the bottle to soothe the flames, right? But all it does is make things worse. Like that alcohol, pour alcohol and flames, see where it gets you, right? But there is another way. You can become a strategist. Don't just fight the fire, find the cause. When I was an area production manager working with DB Schenker Rail, I knew in my head and I knew in my heart that what I had to do was find root cause, had to find out why all these problems were going wrong and to fix that. But I was never allowed to do that. And that is ultimately why I retired at the age of 35, because I couldn't live under that duress anymore. I needed agency and I wasn't getting it on the railway, right? Now, similarly, if you and your partner keep arguing, rather than keeping on putting out those fires, why don't you take the lead in your relationship? Why don't you be the bastion for your relationship and dig into what's actually being triggered here, right? If your work is always chaos, look in the mirror, take 100% responsibility, and ask yourself, what role are you playing to perpetuate it? If your evenings always end in alcohol, ask, what are you trying to escape? You can still learn to handle the fires. That is really important, as long as your goal is to prevent them from starting in the first place. Right, today's vow. Today, I will not drink alcohol. I commit to stepping out of reactivity. I will pause, I will breathe, and then I will start to look for the root cause, not just the flames. Some questions for you to reflect today. Please reach out to me and give me your answers in whatever platform that you're on. What is one fire that you keep putting out in your life? What is the pattern beneath it? And what part of me feels safe in that chaos? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. If this episode lit a spark and a fire in you, please share it with someone else. Rate and review so others can find this message. Subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's episode. And if you want to dive deeper into living a self-led life, alcohol-free as fuck, you may want to consider taking our 6-month flagship program, The Strive Method. Head over to www.thestrivemethod.com and join our waiting list, right? Until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, please do not drink alcohol today. Know you've got it. Do not go putting out fires everywhere. Take a pause, take a step back, be a strategist, all right? Much love and strive on. Until tomorrow, everybody, take care.